Hey, what is going on, guys? In this video today, we're going to be doing a gameplay breakdown of how to get more high kill games in Fortnite. In my opinion, right now is probably one of the best times in Fortnite history for high kill games. It's due to a variety of different factors, and I'll just briefly name a few of them. The map was expanded at the beginning of Season 7, so players are a lot more spread out now, which leads to less early game deaths. Planes are still around, and despite all the nerfs, are still an insanely safe and fast way to get around the map. And a big thing I've noticed is that since players have become a lot more aware of the power of third-partying fights, it creates a bunch of crazy situations where sometimes 3 or 4 plus different teams are all fighting each other at the same exact time. This commonly happens towards the middle of games at places like Dusty, Salty, and the Plain Mountain outside of Tilted. So if you're able to navigate those fights really well, you'll have a chance to pick up something like 5+ kills within the span of a minute or so. Those reasons are all a big part of why now more than ever, you're seeing a lot of the best Fortnite players consistently getting those 20+ and even some 30+ kill games. And speaking of 30+ kill games, the gameplay you're going to be watching today is actually a 30 kill solo squads gameplay from a few days ago. So without further ado, let's get right into breaking it all down. Alright, so getting right into the gameplay here, if you guys have been watching from the beginning, you may have noticed that this was a bit of an odd start to a game by me. Usually when I'm going for high kill games, I'm landing Tilted and specifically landing Big Bertha about 95 out of 100 times. Unfortunately, in this gameplay, I got a really bad initial landing and was forced to start the game at Pawn Shop. It's usually not a great landing, but we do have a few kills, and I guess my mat and inventory situation is looking alright, so I guess it could have been worse. After killing one of this team's teammates down low at Pawn Shop, I made sure to push up quickly to high ground on the rest of them at Fake L's here. Now, I have about 400 mats at this point, so I'm feeling good that I can kind of waste them and push this guy from high ground. I hit him with one of my favorite techniques in all of Fortnite, the Tfue Classic. I pointed out in all of my shotgun tip videos and aim tip videos. I believe I even killed the first teammate by doing the same thing. It's so good, and it's so crucial if you want to become a top tier shotgun player in Fortnite. Now, I believe there's one guy left here. I don't think he was any of these guys' teammates, just a random solo player, I guess. I hit him right there for 85, do a nice little quick edit, reset it, do some more crazy edits, and end up shotgunning him to death. So when you guys think of high kill games, you're probably thinking the dude's gonna leave Tilted with something like 12 or 13 kills. But here's another example of one of my highest kill games being one where I didn't go insane in Tilted. I mean, 7 kills is obviously really good, but I've had a lot of gameplays where I leave Tilted with like 11 or 12 and then finish with barely 20. It almost feels like sometimes these games where you don't go as crazy end up being better because it leaves more people alive at mid-game, and then you have more opportunities to identify them and third-party their fights. It doesn't make a ton of sense, but I don't know, it's just kind of this theory I have. So this is another team I run into right outside of Salty, which is a very popular area to find full teams, and I'm doing a really good job here of just playing low ground, replacing my walls, making edit plays. You don't have to beat everybody to high ground to kill an entire team, and as you saw right there, I didn't have high ground at all. I did take a decent amount of damage, so obviously I'm going to want to loot all those shields, and I did end up using the campfire in this gameplay, but just another thing to know about high kill games there. So now, we're rolling up on one of those fights that I was talking about at the very beginning of this video. This is a fight that clearly involves multiple different teams. There's clearly at least 3 to 4+ different enemies here, all fighting in very close proximity, and also, I honestly missed out on a few extra kills if only I had gotten here a few seconds earlier. I was lucky enough to pick up 2 of them very quickly and early in the fight when I was third-partying it, and now I believe there is 1 enemy left. I do beat him to high ground here, and as I ramp over him, I basically force him into a position of low ground, and instead of just watching him and waiting for him to make a mistake, I make the aggressive play. I basically end up hitting him here and then boxing him, but instead of placing a trap, I make a quick edit and then shotgun him for the kill. So that's kind of how you gotta attack those low ground players. You can't just sit there and wait all day, because if they're good players, they're just gonna stay there as long as you let them. So after driving around in this plane for a little, I finally find what appears to be another full team right outside of Tomato Temple. I start the fight off by trying to go for high ground, but this guy beats me to it. Luckily, I'm able to do a protected retake, then jump down and shotgun deagle him to death. I pretty much end up doing the same thing to the next enemy, except this time I use my shotgun, deagle, AR, pretty much every single weapon in all of my inventory slots. And then now there's only one enemy left at this point. I take high ground over him rather easily, block him off as he's trying to build up to me, edit down, and then also kill him. So a 3v1 there where I wasn't really able to establish high ground too easily, but still ended up not being that bad of a fight because I was doing some good retakes the entire time. One thing I want to quickly talk about in the middle of this gameplay that's super important for high kill games is the nerf to the deagle coming in Fortnite Update 7.40. Now, by the time you guys are watching this video, the update will already be out. And apparently, the headlining nerf for the deagle will be lowering the weapon's structure damage from 150 to 100. Although this is a significant nerf, and the structure damage is probably the biggest reason why the weapon was at least a little overpowered, I still believe it's going to be very strong. It's still the only weapon in the entire game that offers close, medium, and long-range burst damage, and that versatility really is so important. It makes it really easy to get quick kills, which is an absolutely crucial thing when going for high kill games. So unless Epic decides at the last second to add in some more deagle nerfs that they didn't tell us about, I still think it'll be the best secondary to your shotgun in the entire game. So getting back into the gameplay, what you guys saw right there was me finishing up that last teammate from that really awkward storm fight. Basically, I killed the first two guys right at the very beginning of the fight, got out of the storm, and then waited for the third teammate to show himself, but he ended up taking forever. Luckily, right as I was about to give up, he came out, I launch padded him, and I killed him. So after killing that guy who was either solo squatting or just the last member of his team, I get an RPG shot at me by a guy out in the distance. And at this point, I have 21 kills, I'm looking for 30, there's 10 enemies left, and now just like that, there's 9 enemies left. I need every single kill to get this 30 bomb. Now luckily, I catch that guy right out of the corner of my eye. He was obviously incredibly weak, so it ended up being just a one-shot kill with my AK, and you guys can't hear it because this gameplay doesn't have sound, but I hear a ton of footsteps all around me at this point, so I know I'm probably running into yet another full squad. And they're actually doing a really good job at the beginning keeping me from getting high ground. They're building really fast, someone was shooting me out with an RPG at the beginning, but luckily I eventually do get it and edit down on that guy for the easy down. I don't have any time to finish him because his teammates are all around me, so I want to make sure I get up to high ground, and then I edit down and catch another guy, probably going for the revive over there. I make sure to loot all these guys' stuff, and as I'm trying to escape, this guy jumps right into the 1x1 with me. I initially tried for a trap, probably would have just been a smarter play to shotgun him from the beginning, but it all worked out at the end of the day, so who's really complaining? At this point in the gameplay, since I'm going for 30 and I need to get every single enemy, I'm basically forced to push every single team head on. I simply can't risk anybody dying to anybody other than me. But if you noticed at the beginning of the fight, I still did it in a pretty smart way. When I dive bombed these guys from the launch pad, I made sure to land on a point of natural high ground. I took some shots, and then when I noticed they were shooting back at me, I didn't just try to win a 2v1 gunfight out in the open. I built to protect myself, got to high ground, and then re-engaged the enemies individually when I felt I had the advantage. So now I'm down to this last guy, I'm trying to edit him, he drops down, I edit down, and end up killing him. That team honestly seemed pretty good at the game. I mean, that last guy was editing and resetting his stairs in a 1x1 to try to kill me. If I just played that really stupid and rushed them head on and took horrible gunfights, that could have very easily ended in me dying. but luckily I didn't, and I played it at least pretty smart. So now we're in the final 2v1 of this gameplay, and these guys are actually doing a pretty good job of making my life difficult by using a turret and some RPGs. Now luckily I have my deagle, so I'm able to do some nice burst damage even though I'm at a really bad angle here. I'm able to get that quick down after I shoot away the wall, and that's my opportunity to be aggressive and push with the launch pad. Unfortunately, I didn't catch that guy out of the corner of my eye at first, but I see him right there as I'm sitting on high ground. I RPG him once to make him really weak, shoot another one, and then pre-dance before finishing the 30 kill game. So, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you watched the entire thing, be sure to let me know with a comment down the comment section below. I want to know, what's the highest amount of kills you've ever gotten in a single Fortnite squads game? Be sure to leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe, turn on post notifications, do whatever the heck you want, and I will catch you guys next time. Horrible.